Defiant Zelensky is asking for money again. This time he's asking for $1 trillion US dollars. The US is to give Ukraine 100-mile range missiles in the spring of 2023. Zelensky is now asking for $1 trillion US dollars for the reconstruction of Ukraine. While the US does not plan to send Patriot missile defense systems to Ukraine at this stage, however, they are leaving it open for the future. However, they do plan to send 100-mile range missiles in the spring of 2023. The impressive thing is that based on American planning, the conflict in Ukraine will continue into the spring of 2023. Now, I'd like to know what's going to happen to Europe. Meanwhile, Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, who takes advantage of the fact that his country is in the world's focus, believes that the reconstruction of Ukraine, $1 trillion will be required, and is even willing to cede areas, cities or villages, to states to rebuild them. US will not deliver Patriots yet, but plans to deploy 100-mile range missiles. The US official said, "We currently have no plans to provide Patriot missiles to Ukraine, but again, we will continue to have those discussions. When we have more to announce on this front, we'll certainly do so," they said. However, NATO Secretary General said sending Patriots air defense systems to Ukraine is being considered. US considers supplying 100-mile range missiles to Ukraine with Boeing backing. The United States is considering taking new longer-range missiles to Ukraine that can hit targets 100 miles away, despite concerns they could hit Russian soil, Ukrainian forces said. Boeing is proposing the Ukrainian small-bore launch bomb GLSDB as an alternative, which could be delivered in the spring of 2023. GLSDB system, considered flexible, able to deliver quickly to the battlefield as it combines small diameter with basic rocket technology, said to be widely available among the Pentagon stockpiles as it carries the M26 rocket engine. Boeing claims it can easily manufacture many of these small precision bombs that can be fitted to a variety of common missile systems. Although the United States has rejected a request for the 185-mile, that's 297-kilometer range ATACMS missile, the GLSDB 94-mile, that's 150 kilometers, range would allow Ukraine to hit valuable Russian military targets. GLSDB is jointly built by Saab and Boeing and has been in development since 2019, well before the invasion of Ukraine. In October 2022, Saab CEO Michael Johansson said of GLSDB, "We expect contracts for this system soon." So you see, they're also the contract soon, meaning these are new systems and they're trying them out on the field. And also, obviously, they're selling their armaments. Now, the M26 rocket motor is easily manufactured, and the GBU-39 costs about $40,000 each, making the complete GLSDB inexpensive and its major components readily available. Ukrainian forces consider the attacks in Svatovo senseless. The commanders of the armed forces of Ukraine regard the attacks in Svatovo as senseless. The commanders of the armed forces of Ukraine sent reports to the senior leaders asking to explain the feasibility of an attack on the town of Svatovo in Luhansk, LPR, as they have suffered huge losses in manpower. The constant losses, the insufficient amount of ammunition, material, weapons, and equipment to carry out the combat order to control Svatovo forced the commanders of the assault units to draw up reports to the senior leadership in which they asked to explain and justify the feasibility of further aggressive actions in the absence of necessary resources. And now Zelensky, of course, is asking for $1 trillion US dollars for the reconstruction of Ukraine. Ukrainian President Zelensky has said that more than $1 trillion will be required to rebuild Ukraine, and Kiev plans to involve Western countries that will undertake the immediate reconstruction of poles and regions We are already involving dozens of partner countries in the process of rebuilding Ukraine. He said the cost of reconstruction is estimated to be more than $1 trillion. Ukraine planned to start the program of outsourcing the reconstruction of Ukrainian areas, regions to national governments and companies. A number of countries, including France, United Kingdom, the Netherlands, Germany, Denmark, Finland, Italy, Turkey, Switzerland, the United States, Japan, and Australia, have already expressed interest. Meanwhile, on October 25th, the Ukrainian president criticized other countries for their reluctance to fund efforts to rebuild Ukraine. Well, where are these people supposed to find the money from? They can't even, the people of these countries can't even, in Europe, can't even heat their homes, can't even buy food for their families. So what are they supposed to do? Now, Republicans are worried where the funds end up in Ukraine. The American authorities have allocated huge funds to help Ukraine, but there is no accurate information about how that money was used. And Senator Bill Hagerty, Republican Tennessee, during a hearing of the United States Senate Foreign Relations Committee, one of the speakers was Richard Weiner, who was nominated as the United States Director of the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. Speaking about the bank's possible attempt to raise funds for the reconstruction of Ukraine, Weiner said, "Oversight is critical, accountability is critical, transparency is critical." Yeah, because a lot of people say there's a black hole, there's an abyss, and all this money from the US and everywhere else is ending up in this black hole of the Ukraine. Nobody knows where it's going to. So he said we need to ensure that the money is spent for its intended uses. Ukraine is historically considered to be the third most corrupt country in Europe, and we must ensure that high standards of integrity are applied to American taxpayer dollars spent in support of Ukraine, he said. In response, Senator Hagerty said this issue is of great concern, given the amount of taxpayer money already committed by the United States government and the lack of transparency as to where all these funds are going. Meanwhile, U.S. Senator Jeanne Shaheen also pointed to the importance of accountability and allocating funds to Ukraine. And as time goes on, the U.S. will focus on the issue of accountability, as the funds flowing to Ukraine are large and taxpayers need to know where all these funds are ending up. This is from Banking News Greece. I've translated this for you from a Greek article. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.